Welcome to another episode of One on One with Mitch Lafon. Joining me this week from Motörhead, Mikkey Dee. Their new album is Bad Magic, and of course they've got the Motorboat, the Motörhead cruise coming up at the end of September. We talked to Mikkey about that. We also talk about his time with King Diamond and explore the Abigail album in depth, and Don Dokken. That's right, we talked Dokken with Mikkey Dee from Motörhead. And then we also talk hockey and what else do we talk about? Well, who knows? We'll talk with Johnny D about that. Johnny D,
Mitch,
drummer for BRITNY FOX and Doro. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. How you doing?
Good. Doing very well, actually. Life is good. Even though we're at the end of the summer, your touring schedule just ended off this summer in Lithuania.
It did,
Yeah, at the Bike
yeah. That
Fest.
was
How was
that
that?
was it was interesting. It's always cool to come to a place we've never been before, and this is one that we just eluded us for forever. I don't know why, but it was a cool opportunity to come here, and the people were great. Weather's beautiful, and really didn't know much about this country,
Yeah.
for the most part. But just really cool to come here and experience that. We had a day off and got to stroll around a bit, people watching, just good time.
I think that's the cool thing about being in a band like Doro is that since it's mostly European, you get to do all those cool places. It's not always just, the Chance in Poughkeepsie. You
Mm,
get to spread your wings. And by the way, I love the Chance. It's a great venue. Don't get me
right.
wrong, but it's nice to go to Lithuania and Sweden and Spain and kind of a
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, for us at least, like you said, there's a lot more opportunities to do different things. Like, I guess, we played at a castle last year, which is something that doesn't happen for us much. We once did an unplugged kind of classic Diamonds tour, and we played in a few old churches. They just, do things differently here, and for a metal band, it's not something that you typically get to experience. But there's this, I don't know, different types of venues, different kind of cultural events and stuff like that. Whereas in America, for us at least, we don't get to ever do that kind of stuff. It's usually just you know, the the toilet tours. You know what I mean? Like the real swell venues. But
well,
it's
well
all
y- you
it's all
know,
good. But
uh,
it's definitely more interesting when you can get a little culture.
it really
European
is.
stuff.
But you're off the road for September, and then your sort of, let's call it, the other band, BRITNY FOX, gets ripping and roaring out in the West Coast. You're playing the Whiskey a Go Go. That's definitely a classic right there.
Yeah.
Vamped in Vegas, all coming up in October. Farm Rock in Atlanta coming up in November, and then a little bit of East Coast stuff, some Philly dates and a Elmhurst, New York date. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Get
It's been too long, so looking to get out there and see how she goes.
And then when you're done with that, back to England and Europe with Doro, and then you come back here for the cruise. But let's get talking about
The other D.
the other D, Mikkey Dee.
Yes.
I'm assuming you're brothers, right? You're from the
Yeah,
D
yeah, yeah.
family.
Yeah.
uh,
We both have unpronounceable last names, so we went with
the D.
the easy option. But
That's
yeah, I've known Mickey for a long time, man. He's one of the first friends I made in this business, which is pretty cool because he's a great drummer. He's an animal. He's a cool guy, and he's also cool enough to have, kept in touch and just always has time for me and stuff like that. So we've known each other since about 1985.
wow. So
Yeah.
so you were around then when he was sort of discovering himself, going through King Diamond, and then eventually ending up with Don Dokken.
Yeah, I met Mickey in Copenhagen because when I was playing with Pete and Wasted, Pete Way,
Hmm.
he was dating a Danish girl, and we were up there. I guess we were on tour with I don't remember, where we just had gone up there for like a few days off or something like that. I can't quite remember exactly, but he knew King Diamond well because of obviously the UFO connection, and King was a fan, and so the whole Danish thing was going on. And I met Mickey out one night, just, having a few drinks and whatnot, and he gave me some snus. And I was like, what the hell is this crap? So I started putting this, tobacco in my mouth, and I proceeded to turn green and spew right in front of him. So, yeah, it was a good introduction, and I think we had a good piss up that night, but we've been friends ever since, and it's really cool. Got to tour with them a couple of years ago when Doro opened a German leg of their tour, but then when he did the dock and hang and kind of went L.A., I kind of lost touch there for a little while. But yeah, I'm interested to hear him speak about those years.
Yeah, those are great, great years. As we get older, all of us, I can imagine that playing drums in Motorhead has got to be extremely, extremely difficult, because that's not just a couple of fills here and there. You're almost in blast beat territory for an hour and a half, 2 hours a night, and that's just got to take a toll. Are you finding the same thing going on playing with Doro? I mean, is it getting a little challenging on the shoulders and back and not
Only
yet?
well, for Mickey, I gotta say, I mean, the guy makes it look super easy. For me, it was never that. It's a little bit more, difficult. I don't know why, if it was, our training regimens, but he's always been playing fast double bass stuff. So I mean, he's got it down to a science. And as far as like, he's not like my buddy of mine told me this term, and I never actually even heard it, but a feather duster is these guys that play like super fast and don't really even hit the drums that hard.
Right.
That cracked me up big time. But anyway, Mickey hits like a beast and plays fast at the same time, and that is fast, loud, and heavy. That definitely takes its toll. But he seems like a guy that keeps himself in shape, and
Yep.
so that's what I try to do as well. But our songs aren't nearly as
Intense.
demanding.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's take a listen to Mick, or Mickey, and of course he's revered for the drum solos that he does, and of course I think a lot of my listeners know what I think of guitar solos and drum solos. We'll take that up on the second half of this on the way back. New album is called Bad Magic, and well, here is Mikkey Dee.
Hello?
Hello, is this Mickey?
Yes.
Hey Mickey, it's Mitch Lafon. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Just resting up in the bus here a little bit before we hit stage here tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking. In fact, I see you on September 18th in Montreal. I'm very much looking forward to the show. It never disappoints when
Yeah.
Motörhead plays. Yeah, it's going to be great.
It's good up there for sure. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, in fact, the last time you played here was at the Bell Center. I forgot who it was with all of a sudden. I think Judas Priest, was it, maybe? Anyway.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah.
And I had a chance to interview you backstage, and that was very good. So tomorrow comes out Bad Magic, and
Yeah.
I've had a chance to hear it, and it is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it is, for lack of a better word, kick ass. I mean, it's great.
It's a very fast record that we have.
Yeah.
Every song is really up tempo and very fast, which is good. I mean, we wanted to make more of an up tempo type of record this time about it. And here we are. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, you really succeeded. Now, one of the most exciting things, I guess, for fans and the band alike, was having Brian May play or do a solo on the song "The Devil." Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I'll give Phil most of the credit for that one. I mean, we are in contact with Brian all the time, and he just came up with the idea. I'm going to ask Brian maybe to, and he said yes. So he wasn't anything that we really planned. It just happened basically. So it was cool. We like it.
Yeah, and it's sort of exciting to see somebody from Queen, this big extravagant band sort of getting down and dirty with Motörhead. Another
Oh
interesting,
yeah.
yeah, another fun thing was the cover of "Sympathy for the Devil."
hmm
How did you choose that one? I mean, that's great song. Guns N' Roses covered it, not as successfully, I would argue.
Well, it was basically we got asked to do this song for Triple H, I believe.
Right.
He wanted to use it for something. What exactly? I'm not too sure. But well, we recorded it and then listened back to it to go, this is really good. We kind of like how it came out for the fact that it was a Motörhead version of he wanted a Motörhead version of that song, and that's what we gave him, or what we recorded. And we just liked it a lot and said maybe we should put it on our record. That's what we did,
Yeah, definitely a good decision. 40th anniversary tour. You haven't been there the entire time. Is the band doing anything different on this tour, or are you sort of covering all the aspects? Are you doing anything to sort of celebrate the 40th anniversary?
No, in Europe, unfortunately, we're going to do a little bit more of that. We
Okay.
figured because from the beginning, this U.S. leg wasn't going to be as long as this one
Okay.
actually are now. So we will throw in a song or two for sure, but we never really play any new tracks until the record's out.
Right.
And and here on the North American leg, we really, not playing the venues where we can maybe do what we do in Europe, for instance. So a little bit of everything, but the big shaboom will be more over in Europe, unfortunately, and maybe we can bring parts of it over here eventually.
Yeah, hopefully you can come back next summer. I do want to sort of go back into the past a little bit. I recently was at a festival called Heavy Montreal, and the band Dokken played, and you have, of
Yeah,
course, played with Don on his solo album Up from the Ashes back in 1980, and you also had Peter Baltes from Accept with you in that band,
yeah.
which was uh, absolutely fantastic album. Tell me a little bit about working with Don and then sort of deciding, you went from King Diamond, you did the Don Dokken, and then over to Motörhead. Just sort of talk to me a little bit about that transition. Why leave King? Why do Don? And then why move on to Motörhead?
Well, with King Diamond, I felt in the end there that I was a very, very narrow drummer in a way.
Right.
I just played the typical King stuff, and I was really looking forward to maybe play some more mainstream, straight ahead rock and roll, really, And when Don asked me to join, it was just a perfect band, And John Norum was in there, another Swedish fella, and it was such a great band that I looked forward to that, and we had a great time. And Don is such a good friend of mine still to this day, and John and Peter and Billy, unfortunately, I haven't seen too much of, but we recently contacted each other, so hopefully I'll see him maybe on this tour for the first time in years.
Yeah.
But the rest of us, we keep contact, and Don and me talk all the time. So that was a very natural move for me. But after a few years with that, I felt, that I really do belong in the heavier division.
Right.
And Motörhead had asked me 3 times over the years to join since the King Diamond days. And finally, it was time to hook up with the boys, and here we are.
Here we are, all these
4 years later.
Yeah. You mentioned John Norum, of course, from Europe. You had a band with him called Nordic Beast. You've done
Yes.
some performances on Swedish TV. You've got Sten Nilsen in there from Wigwam now, who's in Ammunition. Is that an ongoing project? Is there more Nordic Beast, or is that sort of just It was for fun and we're
No,
done?
it was meant when we were kind of like a little side project, fun side project.
Okay.
Eventually, we were going to start writing some stuff, but me and John, we kind of put it on ice. We said we really don't have time for it. And we'll see. Me and John are probably going to do something else together.
Okay.
I'm sure. We talk about it all the time. So I'm sure me and John will hook up again, but we will probably do something else.
What would the something else be? I mean, put together another band, or just go out and do some club shows as, you know, a cover band or something? I mean, what is something else?
No, we would like to write some stuff together, of course, and this time we didn't have time for that. Actually, we Europe is touring a lot, so this year has been crazy for us, you know.
Right.
No, we will probably try to get a band together and write some cool stuff.
If that does happen, and I certainly hope it does, would it be more like sort of the Europe and Dokken stuff, or would it be more sort of a King Diamond Motörhead kind of thing?
It'd be impossible to say. We just fucked around with some ideas over the years, and you know, John wants to go a little heavier, and maybe I like to go more melodic sometimes. But you know, I think it'd be a good mix, actually.
Yeah. Well, you know, listen, it could be great.
Mm-hmm.
You've also got the Motörhead cruise coming up.
Yeah.
Talk to me about cruises. Is that a fun experience as an artist? I mean, you know, you do the show and you've got the fans, but they're sort of there 4 days in a row. Is that a good thing, or do at some point you just go, oh my God, what am I doing here?
No. It was a great experience. I mean, it was a bit chaotic the first day, I have to say. But then people mellow out and they realize that, you know, we're all hanging out and enjoying ourselves the same way they do. So it was a great experience. It was, I believe everyone that's on that cruise really, really enjoyed it. And so did we. So we're doing it again.
Yeah, and on September 28th, this time you're bringing out Slayer and Anthrax and Exodus, to name a few.
Mm-hmm.
Is there at some point where you take this sort of package off the boat and do a club tour with these guys? I mean, those are some of the greatest sort of thrash bands out there.
Nothing that I know of. Probably not, because most of these bands are heavy touring bands, really, you know. I'm sure they have their schedule booked already. So, but once in a while we do hook up together anyway. You know, we played a lot with Slayer and Anthrax, for instance, over the years. So we'll see. We'll see where it takes us. You know.
Absolutely. A lot has been made about Lemmy's health recently, and there has been some show cancellations. Now you're on tour right now. Everything seems to be going well. How is Lemmy? Is he? Do you think he's going to, you know, make it through this tour? Is he strong? How's he doing?
Yeah, well, you never know with health, but he's fighting and he's doing much better. I mean, this year we've been really kicking ass all over the world. You know, I did not think that we would do this much touring as we have been doing.
Right.
So it's a positive thing, and it's been a very hectic schedule, but you never know. I mean, sometimes we're all a bit tired of this year has been a lot of travel, actually.
Right.
And a lot of work, because we did the record from January on, and it's been a constant travel, actually. Maybe not the most of the shows, but we've been traveling a lot. So, but he's doing fine. He's in good spirit.
And I guess most people probably don't ask about how you're doing. How are you doing? Are you in full health? Are you able to still do this at this age, or?
Oh yeah, I'll play better than ever. That's how I feel it.
Oh.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't have any issues with my back or elbows or shoulders, right, or wrists or anything so far. Knock on wood, I have to say, but so far so good, you know. And then it's fun to tour. It's fun to play when you can actually do it easily. And I feel that I'm playing very, very well right now. So that's good. It's good.
Well, by listening to the album, everybody seems to be playing very well.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the sort of cult favorites, or I mean, maybe not even cult favorite. One of sort of the best albums in this metal genre is the Abigail album from King Diamond, which you got
Yeah,
to
it's a
play
good
on.
one.
It's not bad, right? It's pretty decent.
It's one of them. It's a very good one.
What can you tell me about playing that? That was your, I guess, second album?
Yeah, that was
The
that was
second?
second after Fatal Portrait. Yes.
Yeah, and you had done that single
Uh,
about the Christmas present or whatever that was called. You'd done that
yeah.
single, but what was that like for you? Just if you can sort of any kind of story of working it and preparing for it, just how was that?
Yeah. Well, we came back from the U.S. tour on Fatal Portrait '86,
Mm.
and we started right on this record on Abigail. And we used Roberto Falcao again as an engineer. We became a really tight family on that record, 1987.
Right.
Unfortunately, Michael Denner left after we finished the album and kind of put us in a little bit of a crisis. But I called in Mike Moon, and he learned the song perfect in a very short period of time. And I think we had the best tour ever. That 1987, it was probably the number one tour we ever did. 88 was a little bit bigger, but 87 was the most fun one because we were such a great family. We just a bunch of friends that really did enjoy it, and we took a huge step from Fatal Portrait to Abigail when it came to venues and to expanding with the band, and it was great days.
Yeah, it really was great. You've done in the last few years a couple of appearances at King Diamond shows. You've done a song here and there,
Mm-hmm.
just for fun. Would
Yeah.
you consider going back and doing a full tour or a full album if asked? And of course, if it didn't interfere with Motörhead.
Absolutely. It would be great fun. I'll be totally up for that. It would have been a great challenge. And I think they are going out on the Abigail tour this fall, I believe, here in U.S., right?
Yeah, I think they're doing, what is it, 25th anniversary or 30th anniversary or something like that? I think
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So yeah, that would be fun, and it would certainly be fun if for one of the shows or if they filmed a DVD, if you got to play part of it, if not the whole thing. I think that would be a kick for the fans.
It would have been great, but I just know that King and the band, I guess. Matt's playing in the band, and he's the drummer there, and I don't know if he would appreciate that I came aboard for something like that. But I don't know. Maybe not. It's up to them, really. I'm here. I'm standing by. It will be fun,
As a person who lives in Montreal, and of course hockey is big here. One thing that I've always known about you is that you're a huge hockey fan, always pulling for Team Sweden, even though we know Team Canada is much, much better. But right, I mean, it's true.
Not all the time. Not all the
time. But recently, how much of an enthusiast are you? Do you play at all? Or you just
yeah. I play with. I play a lot of hockey when I'm off, and I'm also on the team Salming, Börje Salming.
I know Börje Salming, Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah. 16, 17 years he was up there, but
one of the best.
Friends, and I'm playing on his team, and we do a lot of charity events, and it got some good players on that team actually, and I'll play in the wintertime 2-3 times a week actually on different deals. So I try to keep it up as good as I can. Yeah.
That's great. So in fact, when you come to Montreal, you should definitely head over to the Bell Center and pick up a jersey or something. Get a tour.
I actually
get a tour.
2 years ago we did a fantastic TV show in Sweden called The Game. we were 11 clowns, as I call it. Well, celebs kind of, but everyone actually played hockey. We had some old soccer stars, and Dragon was there from Backyard Babies, and myself, and a politician, and we were 11 guys that got trained by Hardy Nilsen, an old coach of ours, and he was a very successful coach for the national team years ago, and we met the entire 1994 gold medal team from Lillehammer that actually beat Canada, if you remember.
No, nobody beat Canada.
Oh.
No.
Oh, when we humiliated Peter Forsberg and Mats Sundin.
No,
humiliated you on the penalty.
That never happened. Never happened.
You remember that penalty shot?
Of course.
Where your goalie went up to have a fucking hot dog on the fucking stand.
Yes. Of course.
But we met that whole team actually after a month playing and training super hard in Stockholm. And then, of course, we got some great players with us on our team. We had Nicholas Lidström and Bengt-Åke Gustafsson and Thomas Rundqvist, and we had a good team, a good center in each line, and at least one good defenseman in every line or two. Börje was on our team, and a bunch of famous guys. Mattias Nordström from LA Kings. But we played 5-5 against all that team. That was great.
Yeah, that was that.
And it was televised, and we played in the Big Globe in Stockholm, live on a Saturday at 8:00. It was a fantastic game.
It really was. You mentioned TV, and I don't speak Swedish, so you were in something called Kändisdjungeln, which is celebrity jungle for us who speak English. Is that something? Jungle. Is that something you would like to do more of, TV work?
Well, I do a lot of work. This fall will be a couple of shows coming out.
Okay.
One is called A Night at the Castle. The other one is for the 5th time, actually, that I go down to France and do Fort Bayard, which is a castle out in the ocean, and you do all these, impossible tasks. So I do a lot of these shows in Sweden, actually. I love it. This Celebrity Jungle was a little more because we stayed a month in the jungle, so it was a very tough one.
Can imagine. I certainly wouldn't do that.
And unfortunately, yeah. But
now I see that we're running out of time, so I'll just come right back to Bad Magic for a second, because that's what we're here for. And again, I've got a chance to hear it. It's fantastic. Listen, 40 years in the business, Motörhead. You've been there since 92.
End of 91, yeah.
Yeah, end of 91, 92, right after the Dokken thing. There really is no reason to make a new record. You could go and play the shows and do all the greatest hits. So, sort of what gets you guys in the spirit of, yeah, you know what? Yeah, we can go do Overkill and Ace of Spades, but we need to still make new music. I mean, you don't have to, so why?
No, we don't have to, but it's not so much have to do it or not do it. It's a creative part of the whole band that we like to you like to do simply. I mean, we all like to write. Me and Phil, we love to write new songs, and it's always a challenge to do it. And we are picking up new generations all the time, and it's very important for us to move forward. We can't just play all the old stuff. We really like to play new stuff as well. So it's a challenge for us.
Yeah, fair enough. Mickey, great pleasure. We'll see you in Montreal on September 18th.
All right.
And thank you.
Good.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, see you there.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
There you have it, folks. My interview with Mikkey Dee of Motörhead. The new album is Bad Magic. Make sure you head over to MotörheadCruise.com to find out about the Motörboat, which also features Slayer, Anthrax, Exodus, and many, many more. At the end of that, we had a nice little discussion with Mickey about hockey and about how Canada is always and always will be better than Sweden in hockey. But my question is for you, Johnny. Are you, being in Philly with the Broad Street Bullies and the Philadelphia Flyers and all that, were you
Mm.
ever a hockey guy at any time?
Yeah, I was. I can't say I've been a lifer, but definitely, during the Broad Street bully days, being a kid and that whole got caught up in that whole mania, and certainly in the 90s, was real into it. I don't know. I think my friend Mario, who played in Doro for a little while and has passed now, but he was a huge hockey fan, and he got me into it, and really enjoyed the time. But I'm just like, you know, I'm not that much of a hockey head. I'm not really that big on sports altogether, But I do like some foosball, some soccer, and
Right.
yeah, obviously American football. I just don't go for the drama fest that's
The
that it's
Eagles.
become. But yeah,
The good old Eagles. You can't root for the Eagles. That's just not a
well,
good
you
thing.
can if you have to, you got to. But let's not get into that. It's always, let's put it this way: sports at that time for me was like a release from music, and the whole business bullshit. But now it's like sports has become, so much like that, maybe even worse. And I just don't have time for it. I'd rather just go ride my bike, and
Yeah.
talk to a tree or something.
When I get that feeling that I want to ride my bike or talk to a tree, when I'm watching either a drum or guitar solo in a concert,
Oh,
that's, don't you agree?
that's a low blow, Mitch. How
I
dare
thought
you?
that was a nice transition. Isn't that what we call it in the biz, a transition?
Yeah, it was
No,
good.
but I think because if you follow me on Facebook and stuff, I always say, "Give me more songs, give me more songs." Fans pay for songs. Is that such a terrible thing to say?
No, because I mean, you're probably talking about Kiss.
Who, me?
Yeah, 99% of the time. So yeah, I mean, you want more bang for that big buck. But
Yeah.
for me, solos sometimes are necessary to give the singer a break, or
Okay.
just to pace the show a little bit different. But yeah, of course they can get boring. I like to keep it entertaining and keep the crowd moving in some way. And my motto has always been, if I can keep people from going to take a leak or buying a beer during my solo, then I've done my job.
Do you have
So
a time limit built in? I mean, you know, I- Metallica does these things that they call hangs. They don't really call them, they don't refer to them as solos, where, Trujillo will go into a 2 minute bass hang and then it'll lead into the next song. Hammett will do a 2 minute guitar hang and it'll lead into the next song, which is kind of cool.
yeah.
But when you start getting into the 19-minute solo, it's like,
Oh
the
God.
what are you
Yeah,
doing?
that's overkill.
You know,
I like the ones that flow, from a song into something, or if it's accompanied. Some people have it down, and it's not necessarily a solo, but just like a musical piece with, some flourishes and stuff like that. Those are cool. But
see that I'm up for. If it
yeah,
has a musical nature to it, like a motif or whatever you want to call it, I'm in for that.
yeah,
Or if the bass player stays out there and you do some kind of jam thingy, that. But when it's just tap 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 tap, oh, I stop. No, now watch me tap faster. Tap 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 tap, and it's like, oh, yeah, good. You can tap slow
but
and
that's
you
what
can
gets
tap
the average
fast.
rock fan excited, Mitch. You
Oh,
know? Oh, look, he's going fast. Woo! Yeah.
well, I don't know. I mean, if it has, or maybe if you're playing along to a track, or I don't know. There's something to be said. Otherwise, and yes, if I'm referring to Kiss in particular, when you've got Gene Simmons that does a bass solo, Tommy Thayer that does a guitar solo, Eric Singer does a drum solo, and I counted it at the last show I was at, 17 minutes of your show goes to soloing, and then you have Paul Stanley's stage rap, which takes up another 6 to 7 or 10
Hmm.
minutes of a show. So your 75-minute set list becomes a 55-minute song, or 55 minutes of music, or in fact less, 50 minutes of music. You're like, wow, I just paid $135 for 50 minutes of music. It's like I'm paying $2 a minute here. Like, ugh, you know.
See, not everybody breaks it down like that. You're pulling the curtain away now,
I know.
and you're.
Or come on,
But
even Van
yeah,
Halen.
you definitely got a point.
You know, Van Halen. I mean, does Eddie Van Halen need to do 14 minutes on guitar?
Well, probably, yeah,
I don't know.
because he can.
Right. How about CC DeVille with Poison? He did a 14-minute solo once on that 90 tour, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh my
You know,
God.
when the fans are standing and cheering, and 3 minutes in they're all sitting, don't you just look out to the audience and say, "All right, let's call an audible and let's move back to talk dirty to me. Let's get back on track here." Anyway,
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, we could go on. Let's just dedicate a whole show to drum solos or solos in general. We'll
Yeah,
get, the pundits to call in and,
weigh in on that.
weigh in on it. Exactly.
Uh, I'll finish with this. I'll just say there are some shows where solos are acceptable because that's what you're going there for. When you go see Yngwie Malmsteen, when you go see Rush, when you go see that kind of band, that's part of the gig. I mean, that's that's what you're getting. Joe Satriani. When you go to Kiss or to Cheap Trick or Poison, it's like, you know what? We're here to hear the hits. I'm just making a point. There you go. Shall we leave it on that?
Okay.
Sounds good.
To each his own. Let's leave it on that.
There you go.
If you enjoy it, then it's worth it. But if if you'd rather hear more songs and you paid $50 for a ticket, then damn right.
There you go.
You deserve more music.
Yeah, there you go. And it gives us plenty of time to go to the concession stands and buy more merch.
Exactly. Spend even more cash.
That's right. Buy the merch. It's the buy the merch break.
Maybe that's what it is. Okay. It's not even a drum solo. It's a merch solo.
It's a merch run. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go buy a T-shirt. Hey, head over to BRITNYFOX.com. Check out the tour dates. You've got, from what I can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've got 8 lined up for now. More coming down the road?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. We're kind of, it's tricky to be in 2 bands and all vying for the same shows. So, I hope it works out. But right now, just starting out this way and kind of getting our legs going again, and we'll see how it goes.
And of course, like I always say, we got to get Doro and Brittany over to Heavy Montreal at some point. Lita Ford played Heavy Montreal this year, was extremely, extremely well received. It was really well done. I think Doro would go over gangbusters. So we need to get that happening.
Awesome. Make it happen, Mitch. You're the man.
I try.
Be the ball, Mitch.
There you go. There you go. Bad Magic from Motörhead is out now. Go check it out. Thank you, folks. Thank you, Johnny.
All right. See you.
Cheers.